Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another creative conversation here with MUSEA. My name is Milagros Suriano-Rivera. I am a Color of Woman teacher and guild member, and I am being joined today by the lovely Sumaiyah Wysdom Yates, who is also my co-guild member and co-creator for the museum at MUSEA. And today we are going to bring in a conversation around domestic violence and intimate partner abuse. But before we start, I just want to invite us all to land where we are and just sit back and relax. If you have your red thread, I just invite us all to hold on to this thread that's been such a major talisman and support for us here in the intentional creativity community. I am hailing from San Antonio, Texas, and I graduated Color of Woman in 2019. And it's been a busy day today, so forgive me for grasping at my words. But I'm really honored today because Sumaiyah is just more than a co-teacher and guild member for me. She is my soul twin, and I'm grateful for the universe and Shiloh every single day for her bringing Sumaiyah into my life. Sumaiyah and I have been weaving and pulling on the thread all our lives just to get us here where we are today. Yeah. And we have had the pleasure of sharing tears and just witnessing each other in so many ways. I would like to invite you to start, Sumaiyah. I just, for some reason, I'm at a loss for words today because I'm just a bit emotional at the fact that it is Domestic Violence Month, Awareness Month, and you and I are both, have been victims of domestic violence and continue to do work towards shifting, that dialogue in our head and that narrative in our lives. And if you would start us off by telling us a bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you. I am Sumaiyah Wysdom Yates. I am a 2013 graduate of Color of Woman, so I am a certified intentional creativity teacher and coach, a guild member. I'm a co-curator. Anything Shiloh asked me to be for MUSEA and the Intentional Creativity Foundation. And I say that because it is intentional creativity that got me through my jaunt with domestic violence, intimate partner abuse. When I was 19, I was married, and I won't tell the whole sordid story because it's posted in the magazine. But that was my first experience with intimate partner abuse at 19 years old. And the statistics, unfortunately, say that most of the women who experience domestic violence are between the ages of 18 and 24. So I was right there, right in with what the research shows. And I found myself just doing anything creative that I could do to quiet what was going on in the background of my life. And eventually I stumbled upon Shiloh Sophia's work, and I was drawn to her images, the images of the feminine and the divine feminine. And the more and more I researched about her and the work that she was doing, the more interested I became. But for a long time, I ran from those images. They were powerful. They were speaking to me, but there was so much chaos going on that I couldn't hear what they were calling me to.
Yeah.
So finally, eventually, I got my act together and took a couple of Shiloh Sophia's classes, which sealed the deal for me. I knew that I wanted to become an intentional creativity teacher because I wanted to be able to bring this healing to other victims and survivors of domestic violence.
Okay, so that was your main reason for becoming a colored woman teacher, witnessing that in you. Yeah, and when you mentioned the statistic, I was just listening and noticing how my body felt because um, for me, it was about the same time as well. I was actually 17, um, 17, 18, and that just, turned my life around. And I hadn't been as lucky as you to have found intentional creativity back then. So my journey was a little bit longer, but I'm here now, and I'm so glad for it. Um, you mentioned your magazine article, A Survivor Story, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you so much on behalf of myself and all of the women who struggle with, have struggled with, and are still struggling with um, the experiences of domestic violence, the scars that they leave, and it just brings home that the work that we're doing matters. Like I'm like I don't even know. It's just like just all of what we've been talking about and the things that we've shared, and your article just moved me so much because that was basically it. And the reason it moves me is because my personal experience, in the sense, like I said, it happened a little bit earlier for me, but I was so in survival mode all the time after that that I never looked back. And my experience, my scars were like pushed back into this dark, dark corner in my mind and in my heart, and not to be looked at all. So, acknowledging that sometimes we just create that mechanism of fight or flight, and we just move on and we tell ourselves stories to sort of just numb ourselves from that experience. And I never looked at it. And it's when I read your article, it was, it brought it home. Like, yeah, I was a victim, but I didn't get a chance to really like acknowledge it and work with it. And that's what intentional creativity has been. We've been blessed to find that it provides the tools for us to alchemize those scars, and do the work that we can do for ourselves and take ownership over that in our lives and take our lives back, you know?
Yes,
So,
definitely. I
yeah.
know writing the story actually is a part of my healing process because, as those who are involved in intentional creativity know, it's not just about painting and drawing and um, that sort of creativity. It's also about words. It's words and it's art. And so writing that story for me was cathartic and a part of my healing because I'm at a point where I can finally open up and share my story with other women so that they know that it's okay. It's not your fault. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's looking at you side eye. It is what it is, and we're here to support and help you through that. It's not, don't be shamed. There's no need to carry shame about that because you didn't do anything to cause that to happen to you. So it was very healing for me to write the story because the story goes with the Colorful Scars painting. Um, they both came at the same time. I was painting and I was writing the article, and words plus art to me is like there's no other healing tool that is as powerful as those things are to me.
Mm. Yeah, no, and I know, and knowing you, like word that just runs through your blood, through your veins. Like you just so prolific when it comes to writing. And Shiloh teaches us that intentional creativity is about bringing image and word together to create that medicine and transform. And on the quantum level, it moves that energy from our bodies and in our hearts, and takes on another form that we choose what that form is, and we choose to make something beautiful from the weeds that have been growing in our garden, and all of the muck in our lives. We get to choose what we want it to look like, and that's just such a powerful tool. And I love I love all of that about it. I really
Right.
love all of that about it. So I'm glad that intentional creativity has helped you make that shift from victim to survivor, and now you get to take and take it further by sharing your story, and that form of that, even that article, all the people who read it, whether they've been victims or not, I know they're going to be moved to share it, because everyone knows someone, some woman, even men are abused, but we're just domestic violence, and they're going to share it, and we want you to share it because it's something that needs to be addressed. And the victims are the ones that can take back their lives by knowing that they're not alone in this
Right.
you know
And for you to bring up men as victims of domestic violence as well, I acknowledge and honor them as well. And I'm not trying to push that or them to the background,
mm-hmm.
but my calling is to work with women. So
Yeah.
no slight to the men at
Nope.
all, but I'm going where my calling is leading me.
And you were witnessed in that, and I'm glad that you are answering that call. I'm glad that you are answering that call. So for me it was kind of similar. Back then, like, I wanted to ask you, who were you back then, and what was the shift? We know what you used to get out of it, but what was the shift that you have seen in yourself since making that choice to no longer be a victim?
I'm more confident. I'm more vocal. I was not vocal at all back then. I just accepted what was. I'm definitely more vocal now. Come at me now if you wanna.
Yeah, we know there's no hair on your tongue.
um, and I just know that, and I'm more aware of myself, my gifts, and what I have been placed on this planet to do. And I'm going to do everything in my power between now and the time that I turn back into Stardust to do what I was called to do. I've had some uh, derailments along the way since my certification in 2013, but derailments are going to happen in life in whatever area. I will not let my derailments um, derail me permanently. And I don't know. I know that you know, but I don't know if the audience watching knows. In addition to my experience with domestic violence, I do suffer from a lot of medical conditions, which make it hard for me to paint and whatever else I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let that stop me either. So there's nothing but death that can stop me from using this medicine for myself, and also in sharing it as far and wide as I can possibly spread it.
Yeah, and I love your generosity with that too, because I know every time we talk, you say that's just who I am. I'm just someone that wants to help people and help women specifically, and you go, above and beyond. So, I'm honoring your courage and your bravery, um, and your vulnerability. It takes a lot, and that's what happens. A lot of us go through that, and we're afraid to share because we're afraid to be judged or anything like that, because we've been used to being told, it didn't happen, or, just pushed it away, or we just need to survive. So we just shut it out of our minds, and we don't. So I want to just thank you so much for being the voice and champion for all of us, who have struggled with this issue.
It takes a lot of bravery to be vulnerable, and I knew back when I took Color Woman 2013, I learned through that process what my calling was, and I knew back then that I was called to help domestic violence victims and survivors, but I was not ready to be vulnerable yet. I wasn't that brave yet. And the years between then and now, working with intentional creativity, working with women, holding my own classes, um, and just being involved in the Red Thread community has finally helped to bolster me to be vulnerable, because I'm not ashamed. I just wasn't ready to put it out there and let the world know that
Mhm.
behind this smile that you always see, there's a large and lengthy history of things
Mhm.
that have gone on. And I wasn't quite ready to share that yet, but now I am, and I'm actually also, again, as you know, taking Color a Woman for a second time, even though I'm already certified. And this time, I'm taking it for me. I'm taking it to heal some new wounds from a different man, but also so that I can hone in and put into form what I have been called to do. The first time around led me to the path, led me to know what it was that I'm supposed to do. And this time around, me taking Color Woman is so that I can put that into a container and get it
Mhm.
out into the world. So,
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm so happy that you decided to take that path again. And for me it was similar where I went on and just doing my thing and just surviving and not acknowledging things. And then Shiloh Sophia happened.
yes.
It's like the light switch went on, like bam.
Right,
I'm like, what happened? You get so used to the dark that you don't really notice, and then all of a sudden something happens, and it's like the world just got brighter, and something in me turned on, and I knew that I didn't understand it, I didn't know about it, I had never heard of her before, or intentional creativity. I just needed to, like, I want some of that. Something in me said, I want some of that. And even in that small acknowledgement and awareness of, I want some of that, helped me. And at the time that I found intentional creativity, I wasn't necessarily in a violent relationship, but it was toxic. It was
yes,
emotionally abusive in a sense, where I had completely shut down. And it wasn't until then that I realized, and I'm like, no, there's something more to life. This isn't it.
right,
And I found my voice to the point that my partner at the time, we were having a discussion, and he was so taken aback at the fact that I spoke up, that he was under the impression that I was listening to other people because he was used to me constantly, being submissive. And
right,
I'm like, no, this is my voice. You've just never heard it before, but it was because of that, just that exposure, just
right.
that exposure. Like once you know it, you can't unknow it,
I'll
and love it.
I'll tell you how powerful intentional creativity, the draw of intentional creativity was for me. I was a woman married at the time that did not drive 1 mile down the street to the grocery store without my husband took me literally everywhere to work, to the doctor's appointment, 1 mile away to the grocery store. And then I found Shiloh Insight and intentional creativity. And I got on an airplane by myself and went from the East Coast where I live to the West Coast where she lives twice by myself.
Wow. Wow.
That was the call, that was the pull, and nothing was going to stop me. Even though I didn't drive 1 mile down the street to the grocery store, I got on an
Yep.
airplane by my couple airplanes by myself twice to go over there and to be a part of this and get this medicine. So that
Yes.
was how powerful the draw of intentional creativity was for me, and I have not looked back, and I will never ever look back ever.
Yeah, no,
Moving
I
forward.
know. Wow. So let's talk about the painting behind you, since we're talking about intentional creativity and the powerful medicine and the powerful modality that it is to create healing. That's your colorful scars painting.
Yes,
Okay.
that's good. Um, the process and the for me the process is always more important than the end product. That is the medicine. But this colorful scars intentional creativity procession is dynamite. Just I don't want to give it away. It's there for people to take for themselves. But the what Shiloh takes us through and the way he gets us to scratch it out of ourselves and then to cover it all up. And I love, look at me. I love the rainbow. I love bright colors. And
Yeah,
as you see, my painting is bright color. And then to cover up all those scars with beauty, and then layer another layer of love,
hmm
reverberation, and what is meaningful and powerful. How you have alchemized those scars into what is now the top of this painting. I don't know how to put into words the awesome healing that Colorful Scars was for me.
I'm going to share it right now so that people can get a closer look. So bear with me. Give me a second. Let's see if that works. Share screen. That's not the screen I want to share. Let's see. There we go. Okay. There. Look at those beautiful colors. Wow.
And and
Yes.
and even through the process, you can see some of the scars, like
Mm-hmm.
the black and purple eye,
Mm-hmm.
and the scar is still there, but it's not. It no longer is going to affect my life. It is no longer going to hinder me from doing anything that I want in my life. I'm going to remember it. It's there. It's part of me. It's part of my life. It will never be anything but part of me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that I have healed this, or at least
Yes.
healed it enough to move on and push forward.
Yeah. So I mean, that's beautiful. I love the imagery. I love the power and the medicine of it all. I actually did Colorful Scars again. This was my second one. I did it first in 2019 as part of my certification. Um, and even doing it now, just because I wanted to actually be with you and be on this journey because I knew we were going to have this conversation. And I said, you know what? I've been walking this path with you for about a year and a half. I wanted to do this together with you as well in honor of, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And for me, the symbol of the feminine is just me reclaiming myself as a woman and my power and my authorship. And there's a fire flame here, and that's my soul fire, to knowing that as long as I keep that lit, I will always be able to alchemize anything in my life for the betterment of my life and those who I want to serve and help. And the drum, the djembe drum, is just for me because it has to do with my identity, and standing in and acknowledging my ancestral heritage is part of the resiliency that I didn't realize got me through all of that, and that was powerful. And I love the fact that this is the second time I've done this, and the message is so different because I'm in a different place,
Yes.
and I love that.
As you grow and as you change, the messages change. They're there. They arise and give you what you need when you need whatever it is in that moment. And that is part of the beauty and power of intentional creativity, because you will get, if you show up and you do the work. Gotta do both. You can't just show up.
Yeah, nope,
You
you
show
have
up
to
and
you
you
have to
do
show
the
up.
work. You will receive what you are seeking.
Exactly, the canvas or the whatever you're using as the portal. You can show up to the door, but if you don't open it and walk through that threshold, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And knowing that we have community to support us, and we don't have to go through this by ourselves, and to know that our stories, our content is medicine, is basically the foundation of intentional creativity. And as being a teacher or a guide or anyone that takes any class that Shiloh offers, it's about transforming your content, your story, into something beautiful that you can use, move that energy and the trauma, the experiences, even your dreams and hopes,
Right.
into, and you can see it because they come from inside and you're bringing them outside. And when your life reflects and is in alignment both inside and outside, there's nothing but beauty in the world. you know
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Look at us.
And what else is beautiful, when you show up and do the work, you find yourself not alone. I mean, ever since we've published the article in the magazine, and we started advertising about Colorful Scars class, I have seen a number of women stepping forward saying, I have had a similar experience. I have experienced domestic violence, and and the experience is not a beautiful thing, but what is the beautiful thing is that these women are now being empowered to step forward and say, I am a survivor, and I'm here, and I'm going to be here and do the work to be healed enough. That is just, I mean, I'm literally holding back tears to know that just because I opened my mouth and said, hey, this is what happened to me in my life, and intentional creativity helped me heal that.
Yeah,
And now other women are stepping forward to do the same. It is, oh,
exactly. Oh, sister,
definitely
I
part of life.
and it's beautiful, and that's something that calls to me is, just the witnessing and the showing up and just being there. Sometimes in your vulnerability, by you opening up, you're actually calling in those who need what you have.
Right.
So I encourage any woman that's listening that knows someone or has gone, just show up and just be vulnerable and trust that just in you acknowledging and letting go, um is powerful in itself. Supporting and holding another sister is just is medicine. You don't have to have been, but just knowing that you gave them some place that they can be, is wonderful. So colorful scars is so powerful. Like it was originally created as a modality to help with with trauma, any type of trauma the women go through. So much so powerful that it actually comes with an agreement that you have to sign when you take the
Yes.
course, because things will come up. You do the work,
Right.
hold on. But as you hold on and you do your work, know that you are supported by so many women that have taken the course, this community, your ancestors. Um, you're not alone. So, if you're thinking about taking the course, Colorful Scars, just go for it. We're here for you. We're holding you. So it's just really just awesome. But it's the simplest process, but it's so powerful. There's no skill level needed. All you need is just be willing to let go.
Yes.
That's
And Milagros, I wanted to take a moment to thank you. Also, thank you for being in my life, period, but also for sharing your story. I mean, we're so close. I knew your story, but again, you came here on a Facebook Live in a group of over 10,000 women, and you were vulnerable enough, open enough, and willing to share your story with us as well. And I honor you for that. I thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for being a powerful force in my life. I lost a sister that was very close to me a few years ago, and the divine put you in her place.
mm.
I am so grateful for you and having you in my life. And I'm going to, don't you start crying because you know I will.
Okay. With that, thank you so much. I'm so honored, and I know we have so much work to do, and we're not going to stop now.
No, not at all. Not at
You
all.
know,
This is
and
just the beginning of many beautiful things.
many beautiful things. So I want to just reiterate that the link, the web link for Colorful Scars is musea.org /colorful hyphen scars /dashboard, right?
That will take them straight to the dashboard. If they haven't registered, they should register. I know earlier in the chat,
Someone put it in the chat
someone
before.
posted it in the chat. Yes.
Okay, no problem. I do apologize. I just want to make sure that they get it. And I
And
see a lot of comments here, so I lost that link.
MUSEA has posted it again. It's musea.org/colorful hyphen scars.
There we go. All right, no problem. Wow, I can't believe that we're here and we have some amazing stories to tell. And I'm so grateful for Shiloh Sophia, our museum curator and the founder of Intentional Creativity, for the wonderful work that she's done for so many women in the world, and to have claimed us to help continue her legacy as we build our own legacies and continue the healing and paying it forward. So I want to thank you, Sumaiyah, for spending this time with me and being in Heart Space. I want to thank our community for watching and supporting us, and for being brave and standing in your own wonder. And with that, I want to say thank you again for joining us for another creative conversation. And we will be back next Wednesday, and we should have our Amber uh, Gould with us. She's traveling, so she wasn't with me today, but we are holding her in our hearts and in this space. And we'll be back for another creative conversation. I have no idea what it's going to be, but you'll know when I know. Bye for now.
Thank you, Milagros.
You're welcome. Thank you, beautiful sister. Mwah.